Welcome back to Level Headed Gamer, guys. My name is Joseph. Today we got the conclusion of our armor set videos for this week. As this is the last Technomancer video, we're going to do two different armors here. It's going to be the Plague, let me make sure here. It's going to be the Plague Sorrows armor set, as well as the Borealis Monarch armor set. We're going to go through each of the mods, each of the pieces of the gears. We're going to talk about what all the mods are, and I'm going to give you kind of my opinion of what I think the playstyle of each armor is going to be. It's not going to be a crazy deep dive. It's more of a on-the-spot, in-the-moment kind of analysis as well. And I mean, let's get right into the video. But guys, if you do enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe down below, and because I'll be producing a lot more Outriders content, especially with the launch of the game. But let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Starting with the Plague Sower's armor set, we got the skull or the headpiece with a tier 3 mod called Splash Boost. Blighted rounds increase the splash effect radius of successful shots by 50%. Nice. So affecting other enemies in the vicinity, as well as a tier 2 mod, Euthanasia, or Euthanasia. Well, Euthanasia deals 20% more damage against enemies afflicted by toxic, as well as a set bonus of using upon applying toxic status, gain 5% damage reduction for 5 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. So obviously this is going to be very inflicting the status effect of toxic on enemies and keeping it there as long as possible to eliminate enemies as quickly as possible, and most likely heal in some kind of way. But let's see what other pieces of gear are going to offer. With the second piece of gear, we got Plague Sower's Coat, which is going to have a tier 3 mod to the bone. Blighted rounds, when the skill is activated, increases anomaly power by 30% for 15 seconds. Again, just making you that much more powerful and having the blighted rounds do that much more damage. With the second mod, the tier 1, no pain, no gain. Blighted rounds, when the skill ends, 40% of damage dealt by the skill is turned into healing and spreads equally among allies. I mean, he is going to be the biggest support class in this game, so that's again nice to see reinforced with this mod overall. With the third piece of gear we got here is the Plague Sower's Hands. With a tier 3 mod, Power Assimilation, boosts your anomaly power by slightly over 157,000 for each elite present on the battlefield. With a second mod, with a tier 1, Trick Up the Sleeve, Blighted rounds. While the skill is active, killing shots grant you 30% extra bullets in your mag, which is great, keeping the blighted rounds going for longer, as well as with the power simulation, boosts your anomaly power, just making you that much stronger against the elites, which are going to have a shitload of health, guys, on world tier 15 for sure. With the next piece of gear we got here is Plague Sower's Trousers. We got the first mod here, tier 3 mod, Med Burst, which is blighted rounds. The turret replenishes 35% of maximum health to each ally within 6 meter radius around itself when destroyed. I mean, that's if you stick by the turrets, so it's gonna make sure that you remember to do that and you stick by the turrets as you're causing a bunch of damage. But also there's a second mod, Spare Mag, Blighted rounds. The skill is effective for 1 additional magazine before triggering the cooldown. Again, each class has something of the sort. I had this for my Trickster in the demo, so definitely this is kind of reinforced throughout, that you're able to do things for longer, extending the duration, making it more powerful, or giving you an extra charge. With the last piece of armor for this one is the Plague Sower's Boots, with a tier 3 mod, Enriched Anthrax. That's kind of funny. Blighted turrets, increase the turret's damage by slightly over 7,900. Plus better parts, which is blighted rounds, blighted turret, increase the turret's duration by 50%. Now that's awesome. Just that duration of just consistently doing damage is going to be nice. This seems like well, DK focused or toxic focused build, and turret focused build. So I think it's going to be more about damage. It's just giving you damage output. But honestly, I can't tell you if I'm digging the style of play. Again, it's just, I think Technomancer is not my style of play, but I'm sure I'm going to see something crazy with people using this armor 100%. With the second piece of armor we got here, it's going to be the Monarch, Borealis Monarch armor, which starts with the head crown of the Boreal Monarch. Level tier 3 mod called Twins. Cryo turrets, 2 turrets can be placed before triggering cooldown. That's fucking cool. You're going to be just freezing everything in the path. Painful Chill, Cold Snap applies extra 29, slightly over 29,000 damage to all enemies affected by this skill, with a set bonus of increased weapon damage on frozen enemies by 80%. Also, crit damage is increased by for all party members for 10 seconds, for 10% for 8 seconds after using the Cold Snap ability. I like this ability. The cold version of Technomancer is something I'm digging. But let's go to the next piece of armor. We got the robe of Borealis Monarch, which has a level 3 tier mod, Icicle Storm, Cold Snap. Killing enemies frozen by the skill makes them explode, dealing slightly over 22,000 damage in a 5-meter radius. As well as Frostbite, Cold Snap. While frozen by the skill, enemies have reduced armor by 34% with the duration of the skill. So it's a mobbing armor set, because it's going to focus a lot on neutralizing or interrupting a bunch of enemies in an area with the Cold Snap, and then just doing a buttload of damage while they're frozen and making them weak in that process. With the third piece of armor, we got Gloves of Borealis Monarch. We got a level tier 3 mod called Captain Hunter. Increase your damage against elites by 20%. We've seen this one before, but it's a very useful mod either way. With a second one, Surprise, where Cryo Turret, the turrets explode before being destroyed, dealing slightly over 43,000 damage in a 6-meter radius. Pretty straightforward what it does. It favors Cold Snap and Cryo Turret. Doesn't seem like it favors a third ability. Most armors I notice favor 2 abilities, despite the fact that we can have 3. So it's going to be interesting how you'll be able to incorporate that last ability and make it useful, so to say. With the next piece of armor, we got Waistcloth of Borealis Monarch. We got a level tier 3 mod, Cryo Down. Cryo turrets decrease the skill's cooldown by 50%. Again, you can put 2 of them out on the battlefield, as well as it's going to be cooldown quicker. Great. This is a great combination. Also with a tier 2 mod, Freezing Boost. Boost your damage against enemies afflicted with freeze. Despite the fact, you know, this whole build is around freezing enemies, this is just going to make your damage output even greater. With the last piece of armor we got here is the Boots of Borealis Monarch. It has a level tier 3 mod called Sharp Eye. Killing enemies while aiming down the sides grants you slightly over 94,000 firepower for 20 seconds and stacks up to 3 times. As well as Cold Purification. Cold Snap skill activation removes negative status effects from you and all your allies in range, receiving negative status immunity for 5 seconds. So again, he's always going to be at least slightly a support. I mean, he is support in this build as well because he's freezing enemies all over the place. But it's mobbing, control mobbing. That's kind of going to be his, so to say, role as this armor set. But guys, this is all I got for you for all the armor sets we've done this week. This is the last one we've got, unfortunately, until the game comes out or something else kind of comes out, any kind of piece of information. Hopefully this was useful to you and you enjoyed this kind of video, and if you did, leave a comment down below, maybe leave a like. Tell me what you thought and what you think of these armors. Tell me how wrong I am. I would love to hear what your version of this theory crafting for these armors is going to be. And guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.